So you were also advisor to President Trump in his first innings in the White House. And so you've seen things up close. You were also at the receiving end of a lot of Trump and his administration's wrath. And you wrote all of that in your book as well, Unhinged. So, what I'm really interested
Did
in
you
knowing,
read my book?
I did get the chance and I did get the opportunity. And, a lot of revelations in that book, I think they are quite interesting, for lack of a better word. And now that I'm seeing, the series of events that are unfolding right in front of us, well, you do talk about race relations in your book as well, the use of the prohibited, rightly so, the N word, the offensive word. And now we're seeing President Trump talking about invading Nigeria because he feels that there's racism against white people there, or boycotting the G20 summit in South Africa. So
Exactly.
how do you see
So
this?
many
Trump
things.
co-opting the race relations movement.
So many things. I mean, I'm not the girl to tell you I told you so, but so many things outlined in the book have come to bear. I mean, just right in front of our eyes. Even his mental situation, a lot of people are now like, oh, now we see it. Um, but unfortunately, I regret that some of the pain that he's causing to so many different countries, to so many people who are just like you said, your student who's trying to study here, and they have that angst and that anxiety and that fear. It just, it's really sad to watch.
I think what's really sad is the Trump administration's attack on academic spaces, because I thought that academic spaces were the only safe spaces where people could have open conversations and debates. And when you get to see that any critical race theory courses or courses related to gender studies or anything of that sort, when there's a crackdown on that, and Trump threatens universities.
Why do you think he's gone after the universities? I'm curious to know.
I think because I'm in Pakistan, I also know how that works. Any dictatorial or authoritarian regime sees independent learning and critical thinking as a threat to their power. That happens a lot in Pakistan as well. And that is why there's this term that they use in Pakistan, oh, this person is Western educated. It means that they are being taught anti-state rhetoric, or they're being taught anti-state narratives. So we're going to censor the kind of books that are going to be read in schools and colleges and universities. And I think that Trump has taken a leaf out of exactly that playbook.
Mm.
That's my opinion.
Do you mind if I ask how are you feeling the impacts of his crackdown aside from the students you shared? Are there others that have been impacted by his decisions?
Absolutely. So the thing is that a lot of my students, they intend to do their postgraduate studies right after they complete their LLB, because that's what I teach. And whenever they come to me for advice, I keep on telling them, I first of all ask them, I hope you never wrote anything pro-Palestinian on your social media. I hope you
Mm.
never criticized Trump, even if it were legitimate criticism, because if you've done so, US universities they are out for you. They're no longer an option. So you can think of pursuing your further education if you want to go abroad in the UK, as I did. And
Or
so,
in Canada.
or in
Canada's,
Canada, because
yeah.
they haven't been overtaken by the madness of King Trump the Second. That's what I call it.
King
So
Trump the
Trump
second.
the Second, yeah, and I've taken that from a play, The Madness of King George the Third. So that's the reference, and that's why I say that there's they haven't been overtaken by that far right madness. I don't know if that were to happen in the UK tomorrow, if people like Nigel Farage were to take over. But I keep on telling them that the US is a no-go zone for you, because you'll be spending so much money and time and effort getting a student visa, and when you get there, you might be sent back packing or might be in ICE detention. It's that kind of uncertainty.
That's terror. It's a form of terror.
It is.
The type of fear that he puts into people's heart, and it derails people who have had plans to study in the US forever, who's worked for so many years to attempt to get to these different institutions. I was reading an article about a young man who had been accepted And then, there was some restrictions put on that particular country, so he couldn't come, and it just broke my heart because he was saying that that was his dream.
Pete Hegseth currently talking about cracking down on Senator Mark Kelly and on other Democrats, saying that they are traitors. They've incited mutiny within the army. They're saying that the army should not obey Trump's orders. This is so similar in Pakistani politics because here they keep on using words like sedition and traitor to shut down dissent. Just how do you see this syndrome? Because I never saw this happen in America.
I'm former military as well, so I have to be very careful about how I address it. But I think that Mark Kelly is equipped to deal with Donald Trump. He's one of the very unique people who can go toe to toe with Donald Trump and not be concerned about the consequences. So I'm interested to see how it plays out, but I actually put my money on him, on Mark Kelly.
Great. And thank you so much for your time. It was great meeting you.
All right, please stay connected, and this has been delightful. I thank you so much.
So, I recently read a quote of yours where you've said that Trump is the poster boy of fascism. I just want to know, how would you define the word fascism?
Yeah, look, one of the things that that's how I end my book, Revenge, that Trumpism is fascism, and we must eradicate it from our body politic. And I do truly believe that. I believe that Trump never wanted to be president. This is not what I believe. This is really from his own mouth. His intent when we started the campaign for the presidency was legitimately, and I'm not making this up now, one of the things that he wanted to do is to create a brand of presidency. So the presidential race was supposed to be the greatest political infomercial in the history of United States politics. Now, I don't know a lot about what's going on in your country as far as elections. I don't. One of the things that Trump has decided to look to are autocrats, fascists. Right? He's looking to monarchs, supreme leaders, the Kim Jong-uns of the world, the Vladimir Putins, the Mohammed bin Salmans. This is what he sees for himself and his family. He doesn't see what our founding fathers in this country saw, which is that this is one man amongst all in the country, or one person amongst all in the country, who would turn around and represent the country as a whole, right? It's supposed to be, it goes beyond your duty, your patriotic duty as an American. So when I started to say that Trump didn't want to really be president, he doesn't. He wants to be the ruler. He wants people to act the way that they act when they see Vladimir Putin, when they see Mohammed bin Salman, when they see Kim Jong-un. He can have them do, and he can do whatever he wants. And that's how I, define Donald Trump, Trumpism, fascism, autocracy, monarchy. That's what he's really looking for, as opposed to doing his civic duty.
And so what I find really interesting about you is the fact that you were a Trump ally in the beginning, and then later onwards, you became one of his fiercest critics. So how did that shift come about?
Yeah. I worked for him for almost a dozen years, if not a little longer. And when I worked for him, he wasn't the president of the United States. He was the president and CEO of a small mom and pop real estate entertainment company. It's not the same as when you have a president who has the biggest microphone in the world, who starts revealing himself to be the worst version of himself, that the man just starts rattling off racist, sexist, misogynistic, xenophobic, homophobic, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic rants. That's not something that I can sit back with and just tolerate or ignore. On top of that, one of the things that I never thought would happen is that I would be the guy that he would throw under the bus. But one thing for certain, I would not be putting up with what's going on now. Look, I have a daughter, I have a young son as well. Yeah, and they're around at the age where, you start to get serious and marriage and the whole bit. Well, look at what's now happened to Roe v. Wade, with the Dobbs decision.
Yeah.
We have lost a fundamental right that we have grown up with, even though it may not have been codified in law, or I should say in the Constitution. They've now changed the way that women and reproductive matters are looked at. The next one that's going to come up is the Obergefell case, which is the same-sex marriage. And the Supreme Court will do the exact same thing, and they will issue the same identical type of answer, which is, hey, look, this has nothing to do with the Supreme Court. This is all about states' rights. And we think that the Supreme Court over the years had taken advantage and had gone too far, so we're going to reverse it. So many of the civil liberties, the fundamental rights, the stare decisis that we have known over the course of the last 5 decades are now going to be gone. And this is what the GOP, this is what Trump has taught them, that you can get away with whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, so long as that you have a base that's willing to support you and willing to attack the Capitol on your behalf and in your honor. And he's just a danger. He is a fundamental danger to democracy.